Hi, my name is Dr. Avi Patel, and I am a dentist. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about an associateship that I had about a year after I graduated dental school. I feel like it's helpful for you guys to hear my story so that way you can learn from my experiences and hopefully be in a better situation. So if you haven't seen my videos about my first 4 jobs coming out of dental school, you should go back and watch them right now and then come back right here. So I had just given notice to the practice where the owner was lying to me about the patient demographics. And I started my search for my new job. I was still working part-time at the Medicaid office, and I kept it that way so that way I could have a safety net while I was looking to try to find a good fit at a private practice. When you first start off as an associate, it's good to be working in multiple different offices so that way you don't over leverage yourself into one clinic. I say this because if you can't tell from my journey already, not every office is gonna be a good fit for you. And it is your job to find the best fit. So while I was looking for a job at a private office, my goals were still the same. I wanted to find a place where I could get exposure to how life was like being a private practice dentist. I wanted to see less patients, that way I could improve the quality of my care. Remember, at the Medicaid office, I was seeing over 30 patients a day running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I wanted that number to drop down closer to like around 15 or 16 patients so that I could take my time and provide very high quality of care. At this point, I had 4 jobs in my first year out of dental school. I was starting to get a little frustrated, mainly because I wasn't able to find a place where I could really thrive and grow as a dentist. But I was still hopeful that I would find my place. So earlier this year when I was looking for a job, I had been in contact with a dentist that was looking for an associate. Now he wasn't just looking for any associate. He was looking for an associate that would be willing to come in full time and then eventually buy the practice from him. At this point, I'm 6 months out of dental school. I had no interest in such an aggressive plan. I literally just wanted a job where I could practice dentistry. Like I haven't even had a job for more than 3 months at a time, let alone let me think about buying a practice. That just was not on my radar. So we were chatting and we got along really well on the phone and he invited me to come see the practice. I checked it out. It was old, but it was very well maintained. It was in a really nice part of town too. He was super excited that I was there checking out the place and he really wanted me to work for him. He kept telling me how much I would enjoy it there, how much the staff and the patients would love me, and he could really just see me growing and taking my talents to the next level as a dentist. He even teaches dentists how to place implants and he offered to teach me that, in addition to anything else that I wanted to learn. He offered to be a guide for me and even said that, as I grew and I got more confident that I'd be able to buy the place from him. Like I said, that level of commitment freaked me out. I just wasn't ready for it. So I asked if we could meet in the middle. I told him I was only looking for part-time work and I wanted to get a feel for how the practice was before I committed full-time. He said full-time was something that he was adamant on and he couldn't offer less days. I stuck to my guns and politely declined. He understood my situation and he didn't force me to take the job. Fast forward 6 months to my current situation when I'm job hunting. I decided to give him a call and see how he was doing and if anything changed on his end. We spoke on the phone and he was thrilled to hear from me. It was super comforting talking to him. He empathized with my current situation and apologized that, I had been lied to about the patient demographic and all the challenges that came with that practice. I asked him how things were going and he said that he never ended up getting an associate and he just ended up working full time at the practice. He said that there was space for me and that if I wanted to join him, I could, and that it didn't have to be full time. So on the phone, we discussed pay structure and how many days a week that I would work. He said he'd give me a daily guarantee of $700 and pay me on 32% of production. That was a sweet deal. And I didn't ask him to sign a contract because I trusted him. He also didn't require me to sign one. So I started working a week later and I was hyped. He told me the office does morning huddles every morning and they start at 7:45 before the patients come in. So I made sure that I got there early. In the huddle, the entire staff was there. There was about 12 people total. And we reviewed the schedule for that day. We discussed which patients were coming in, what procedures we were doing, if there was any room for opportunity on the schedule to book patients at. We identified patients that could schedule for the rest of their family. And we also shared any details that would help improve the patient's experience for that day. This was a tight ship that the doc was running, and I loved it. The structure was amazing. Everybody had a role and they knew what they had to do and they also knew what the rest of the team had to do. It was like a well-oiled machine. My thought was, let me not mess anything up and make sure that I fall in line. I was working with a very experienced assistant, and she helped guide me along the way to make sure that I was able to fit in and have things go smoothly. Before I knew it, I was seeing patients. This office was mainly fee for service with only a few insurances that they were accepting. So the fees for procedures was much higher than what I was used to. The area that this practice was in was definitely a higher income. The patients were nice and respectful, and the staff was super supportive of any questions that I had. My assistant was amazing, and she helped me transition into the practice as easy as possible. As the weeks went on, all I could think of was, wow, this is what private practice is like? This is sick! I wasn't seeing that many patients, and my paychecks were double than what they used to be. Now, the treatment that I was doing was mostly fillings, which was kind of weird, because I was diagnosing crowns, but they just weren't ending up on my schedule, but I didn't really think much of it. I was just happy doing fillings for the price that I was getting paid. I kept thinking, like, every job that I had up until this point, like, all I wanted was to feel this. See a handful of quality patients, do quality work, and get paid accordingly. So I am loving life every single day that I go into work. I was building connections with the staff, there was amazing energy in the office, and I was excited about dentistry again. So now we're about 3 months in, and I can remember this day distinctly. It was a Tuesday. I took the day off because my wife and I were gonna go get court married before our wedding. I got a call from the owner. I didn't answer, and then I sent him a text letting him know what I was doing. He said, don't worry about it, we'll talk tomorrow when you come into work. He asked me to come in a few minutes early because there was something important that he wanted to speak with me about. I go in early and we sit down and we start talking. This is when he tells me that he sold the practice to 2 doctors who don't need an associate, and my last day was gonna be Friday. I had 48 hours to get out. I was shocked. Everything was going so well, and now it's over. You're probably thinking, how is he allowed to let you go with such short notice? Well, remember, I never signed a contract, and that's on me. You always need to have a contract in place if you ever accept a job. On that contract, you have to make sure that you have a notice period as well. That is what's going to protect you. So without asking for a contract, I really let my trust get in the way of that. All I had to do was just ask for a contract before I started working. He probably would have given me one to sign. But I don't know, I kind of felt like weird to ask for one because we had such good conversation and everything, like we were all on the same page. I just didn't feel like it was necessary. I honestly just didn't think anything bad was gonna happen, and I felt like I could trust him, so that was my thought. Looking back at it, if a dentist doesn't offer you a contract, it's probably a red flag. So I worked my last 2 days in the office just trying to be positive about the situation. And the staff ended up telling me that they were instructed to keep crowns off of my schedule, and the thought behind this was maybe they were being saved for the new owners that were coming in. At this point, I wasn't surprised. I just didn't think so many things could be happening behind the scenes while I was still enjoying my time there. So I let the shock settle, and then I spoke with him. I just talked to him about how messed up the entire situation was and how I felt betrayed and lied to. He told me that he sincerely apologized for this and he didn't mean for it to happen. He ended up giving me 2 weeks of severance pay and wished me well in my career. Now, for the record, he did not have to pay me severance at all. Most dentists would not even do that. Honestly, to date, he's the only one that has done that for me. So I appreciated it. Looking back on this experience, it was good while it lasted. Got me excited about dentistry again, even though it was for a short couple months. It gave me insight into what private practice looks like when you have higher fees for procedures and a patient population that's willing to pay for good work. I was able to see less patients and make more money, and this was a new feeling for me and it felt so good. It was a great reference point for me to look on and see how I wanted to practice in my career moving forward. I also learned that you cannot trust a dentist to have your well-being at the forefront of their mind. Their priority is always going to be them and their business, not you. So what can you do to avoid a situation like this? Like I said before, always have a contract. Be upfront from the beginning and ask the dentist if they have any plans of selling the practice in the future. Remember, the doctor told me 6 months prior that he was looking to get an associate full-time to then sell it to. So this shouldn't have been as a surprise for me. What I should have done was just asked him if he still had those plans. Another thing is monitor the treatment that you are treatment planning and see if it's really ending up on your schedule or not. This is a good thing to do, especially when you're starting in a practice, because you can see if you are effectively communicating the urgency of treatment to patients or if things are being taken off your schedule and put onto other doctors. If treatment isn't being shown up on your schedule, you should ask the front desk, why aren't patients scheduling with you? This is going to be super helpful for you to learn things that you may be doing wrong or not communicating properly to the patients. I hope you enjoyed this video. please drill that like and subscribe button and share this with anyone that you think it may benefit. If you're wondering how the next job went, a spoiler is that I got fired in the craziest way possible. Check out part 6 to find out. Thank you.